Thanks, Tom. Massive introduction. I just want to thank you and the rest of the group for the opportunity of obviously being involved. It was only 12 months ago, I was literally sitting right there and I actually, quote unquote, said to my sales manager, imagine how terrifying it would be to be standing on the stage right now. So here I am. I just want to basically start and just to reiterate on what Tom had said. We've been in business since 2007. Now, in that time, we've gone from a team of 6 to a team today of around 60 professionals, and we've, in the last month, made a commitment to start another office as well, early 2015, which is really exciting. We're on track this year for more than 600 residential transactions. We specialise in mainly units and houses, and our price point can sometimes be anywhere between $300,000 and the top end in our area is about $6 million. So we're sort of covering most price points, but I guess for me, you know, one of the most important things of our business is obviously our attitude towards the property management, the rent roll, which we think by around August will be around 1,000 management. So before I get started, I really want to say, in my view, there's probably thousands of secrets in terms of success, and I guess today I just want to talk to you about some of the lessons that I've learned. The first thing, and probably the thing that we've had a lot of focus on right from day dot, was our attitude towards gearing up for growth. Now, what I mean by that, and all of these things can apply to either a sales agent or a principal, but essentially we've always geared the team, you know, in terms of what it'll look like in 6 months' time. I'm going to talk more about these things in more detail, but the second thing I want to talk about is our attitude towards digital and video and really the sort of things we're doing in our business around that. Thirdly, and this is something that I strongly believe in, this is essentially the backbone in our business, and that is our attitude towards, you know, team culture and our focus on health and fitness, because something that I've noticed, and this is pretty dear to me, is it's a no-brainer. When our sales agents are fit and focused and they've got an attitude towards nutrition, you know, that sort of just translates right through to work, and obviously they're happier people to come to work, but I think the byproduct of that is that they're more successful. So let's get into the first thing, creating a team for growth. Now, a few years back, I had a really smart guy say to me, look, if you need to get your team swimming in the same direction, you need to basically tell them what your vision is, because nobody's expected to be a mind reader, and the best thing that you can do is get them to buy into that. So I guess when we started doing that, and I started this at the general meetings, I'd start talking about where we're going and why we're doing certain things. And eventually I had a team around me that have all got skin in the game because they all know what the goal is. The second thing is obviously overstaffing all the areas that you're not strong in. Now, I'm a selling principal, like Tom said. One of the things that I've been very clever about, if I dare say so, is, you know, I'm not good at admin. I'm certainly not good at technology. You know, I have a very clear vision in terms of what our database needs to look like, you know, and I think in 2014, if you're not taking data seriously, then you're behind the game. But, you know, in my business, I've got someone who is better at technology than I do. Thirdly, it's all in your detail, and this means to me, it's more about your processes and your systems. So one of the things that I want to touch on is something that we've only implemented in the last 3 weeks. Now, I recognised probably 2 months ago in our business, and we've got a young team, like the average group would probably be around 30 years of age. Now, how can I expect my sales agents to understand how to manage people? You know, and I was starting to sort of look at this and think, well, how can I put more accountability between the sales assistants and the sales managers? So one of the things that we came up with was a report. Now, Laura Mackay, my sales manager, drives this, and the sales assistants, and I haven't had anyone in our business who hasn't been excited about this, because ultimately, we're going to try and track, and the sales assistants will become better agents later on down the track because of all this data, but I want to track exactly how many appraisals that sales assistant is creating within that sales unit as a direct activity during their week. Second thing is prospecting calls, how many sessions, and what does that look like week to week. Email addresses, like I said, data's everything. Like for the last 6 or 12 months, I've been talking to Josh Fegan and a few other people. You need to have clean data. You need to categorize that data, because, you know, with the shift in terms of print and digital, this is more important than it's ever been. New listings. I want to know how many new listing opportunities that sales assistant is creating for that sales unit. Lost listings, because it's important how you track it. Property management leads, buyer appointments, current negotiations. and personal sales. Now, you might look at some of those things and say, well, our assistant is not up to those sort of things yet. Well, that's fine. We simply cater around their level of experience. So the second thing I want to talk about in terms of where we're at in 2014 is our attitude around digital and video. And John McGrath spoke about several of these things yesterday, and I think he put it really well, because the ways we engage with consumers are changing. Now, Tom Panos, and this is one of his quotes, if we don't find them, they will find us. 2014 for us means that we've got a social marketing expert as a consultant, and that's part of our business, because it's my view that if we're strong in Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and then obviously we're aggressive in terms of our packages on domain and realestate.com, those clients will find us. So then I want to talk to you about video. Now, the thing that I've learned about video is that bad video can be worse than no video. So I looked at this and I thought, well, real estate agents by nature think they're going to be great at everything, right? How do we train around video? Because I know that it took some time for me to be comfortable in front of the camera, and the sort of thing that we did was invest in it. So I sat down with our management team and we said, well, who can train us on doing really good presentation on video? What we came up with was, let's go to Sky News. So we had a contact in Sky News, and that's Suzanne Lattimore and her team, and that consisted of a camera crew and an editor, and they came out to our business in January this year and spent a whole day giving us a crash course on how to talk into a camera. Now, one thing that I learnt during that day with them was that they gave us the 4 Ps, and that was preparation, practice, presentation, and presence. Now, what I mean by that, the old days I'd turn up in front of the video and just wing it. So I'd literally hang up the phone from a buyer inquiry and then walk in front of the camera and just wing it. And when I started listening to this, I thought, well, what if I just spent 20 minutes just getting my head right before I stand in front of the camera? And what I found out was that the end product looks completely different. So practice is everything. Presentation's a really good one. So I'm not big on camera, and I've got a lot of young guys in our agency who think they're very sharp, and they are sharp. But you don't want to look like Austin Powers or Zoolander when it comes to video. It's very obvious that you just want to play it safe. So, white shirt, plain suit, blue shirt, those kind of things. Just go with something that's very safe. You don't want people judging you. Obviously, presentation, your haircut, everything's essential. Presence is everything. So my thinking is that if you create a product in your marketplace that your competitors don't have, you want to be visible, but most importantly, you want to create separation between you and the competition. Video, at the moment, is the best way to do that. I can't push this enough. One of the big reasons why we put a videographer in our business was because I want to create consistency across the whole business with video. John McGrath said yesterday, I think, that 10% of agents are using video. That just blows me away. We're trying to get to, at the moment, we're working towards maybe 70 or 80% of all of our listings in every price point. So it's been a huge thing. Now, one of the other things, I'm going to play a video in a second. It's not all about property videos or market reports. Start thinking outside of the square. You can have so much fun with this. So the next video that I'm going to play is an idea that we came up with. Now, recently we put my competitors are going to love this, we put our submissions, our pre-submissions on a USB. All right, so the letter goes out to the client. Thank you for the opportunity. We'll see you on Wednesday. Here's a USB. On that video, on that USB, there's a marketing report, an agent profile. But then we've created a video about video. So here it is. Thank you. I'm sure my marketing girls and my brand manager will love to hear the clap. Thank you very much. Okay, so I guess before I wrap up on the video, start to have some fun with it. Think creatively. In my view, this is where real estate is going. There's going to be less print, more digital. Video is a big part of that, and we're right behind it. So the last part of my discussion is around culture, and this is something that I'm very, very serious about. What is culture? Now, culture is essentially the conversations and behaviours of the group. Okay, so that's those conversations that are happening within your team and within your office. That's the behaviour and whether they get on or not. All of these things have an impact on your productivity, and essentially we've just gone out there and wanted, our intentions were to create a destination that the best of the best would want to be a part of. Now, the good thing about culture is that you're in complete control of it. Okay, so whether it's the sales agent, the sales assistant, like you have a responsibility. If you create a good culture in that dynamic, it's unlimited what you can achieve together. So essentially, culture is the team's DNA, and it's the behaviour of the group. I live and breathe team culture. Most importantly, we have a focus on health and fitness, and I want to talk about that in a minute. So culture, what does culture look like for us? We're a big believer in putting back into the community, and this is simply because we earn a living from the community, and I just feel like we should be putting back. So we support a number of charities every year, and it's not always about the check that you write or how much money you've spent on it. It's about the time that you put in and the awareness that you've created within your community around that particular cause. I work and I live as well in a very insulated community, so there's everybody knows everybody, and I just think they're good things to do. At a fitness level, and you'll see in the top left, I convinced a dozen of our team to go and do Tough Mudder with me on 2 occasions, and we had an awesome day. Obviously, the golf days are with the charities. Last year, and that's Laura Mackay, our sales manager, we supported the Pink Lunch for breast cancer. That's John Schwartzer in the morning tea breakfast from last week. So some of the other things we're doing around fitness. For the last 6.5 years, I've had a personal trainer who's been engaged on a retainer arrangement for our business. Okay, now our week as an office looks like this. So I have a run club that I run with our group. I feel, and Tom Panos, who is one of the best trainers in the business at the moment, we talk a lot around this because he's got his 5 a.m. club. Now, the old days of culture, in my view, was Fridays, you head out to lunch with half a dozen of your sales team and you just get smashed. Believe me, I love a lunch like the best of them. But the new world, in my view, is getting out of bed early between 5 and 5:30 and punching out maybe 5 or 7 Ks with your sales team before you go to work on a Wednesday. Like, that's awesome. And the way that we feel when we get to work is even better. And the way that we work together is just, we have 60 individuals in that business that genuinely get on very, very well with each other. Some of the other things we've done recently, we've trained for the Sydney Morning Half Marathon. We run the Sutherland Surf. When the weather's warm and the water's warm, we run a surf school. So we engage someone who knows how to surf, and they teach whoever wants to be involved before we get to work as well. Something that we did in January. Now, if you're running a business and you've got a big sales team like we do, it doesn't just necessarily have to be around sales, but we created a 40-day focus in January. Now, what this was, we had a personal trainer come into the business and do our body, and you're going to think I'm this fitness freak. I'm actually not, and we don't make it compulsory, but this was a really good initiative because we had most of the team get on it. It was a $50 ticket in. Now, we did our weights, and it was almost like the Biggest Loser for 40 days. Okay, so 30 or 40 days later, I've got a team of salespeople, most of them haven't had any alcohol. They're all drinking. They're all different age groups, but mainly around the age of 30. They're all eating well. The byproduct of that was amazing because I had fit, healthy, happy people come to work with during that period. And I would dare say that we did some amazing volume in the first quarter of 2014. A lot of it was because of that program. So it was awesome. It was winner takes all. Beck Mulder, our brand manager, who's here today, took it out, and we matched that with a gym membership and some PT sessions. I know a lot of you do half-yearly conferences. This was ours, and Tom did an amazing presentation. This was about a month ago. It was quickly around health and nutrition, culture, and we invited Craig Alexander, our 5-time World Ironman, to be involved as well. So in closing, because I'm on the red, this is what I feel. Be a little fearless in your career, okay? Be willing to take some risks. Get out of your comfort zone. Believe me, I've had nothing more has been a bigger fear than me actually standing up in front of a group like this. The second thing I would say to you is, with success sometimes comes arrogance. I beg you, be humble and keep your feet on the ground. It's the most important thing if you want sustainability in your career. I don't know of an agent who is operating at the top level in what we do, who hasn't had to get in the trenches in his business at some point, or her business at some point, and really fight it out. It's very important. Most importantly, enjoy the ride. Okay, it's a great journey. The last 16 or 17 years of my career has been amazing, but I wouldn't put it down to all the materialistic things that you can acquire along the way. you know, cars, boats, holidays, all those sort of things aren't as important as the relationships that you get from the people that you work with, you know, and those relationships with the people that you work for. So that's it for me. Thanks again. Have a great conference.